Yeah, so typical little Spanish town. When you come up through these little towns, you realise that, you know, these are working Spanish towns, and you get very, very few, if any, tourists ever coming to these places. And in my experience, it's where you get some of the best food and the best company. The Spanish folk are, for the most part, quite sociable, and they're quite happy to chat away. You just try and strike up a conversation. But of course, the difficulty you have in these little back towns is that very few people speak English. So you have to learn a little bit of Spanish just to be sociable, and they seem to appreciate it. So just coming up to another one of the golf resorts that are in the area, and this is fairly typical actually. They're kind of out in the sticks a bit. Peraleja Golf. So yeah, just in my left here is another one of the big golf resorts, Peraleja Golf. I'm going to get down here through Sucina, because I know that takes me up some of the back roads rather than going the motorway. So this is us coming into one of the inland towns called Sucina. And this is becoming quite a popular place for people to buy holiday homes. There are good properties to be had here inland, and the reason they prove popular is that they have, you'll be able to get villas here, semi-detached villas here with a pool for around probably around 150,000 euros. And if you had that down nearer the coast, you could easily add another 30 grand onto that. So yeah, some bargains to be had. Now I've got no idea, there's some half-built houses on the right there. I've got no idea where this little road's going to take us. I'm just kind of blindly following instructions for the sat-nav, but at the same time trying to make the video interesting for you. And I've got a feeling that it's going to take us out to the left here, which is going to take us out of Sucina. So it may well be worthwhile. Yeah, it is. I'm just going to take a run down through the village and then turn at the bottom and come back up again, just to give you a feel for what Sucina looks like. So I've got some friends who live up here. They've been here around 7 years. They love it. They said it's got everything they need. It's got a good selection of little bars and restaurants. It's got a decent supermarket. It's got a pharmacy. Got the bank, and that, you know, probably all the stuff that you would need for day-to-day living. So the chapel is just coming out here, so I'm just going to zip round here and go back out the village. So other than what I seen there, this is it. So here we go. People are just waiting for the mass, having a cold beer. I've probably just finished the mass actually. Having a cold beer in the sunshine, or a cold juice or water. That's the village of Sucina. Houses go back, well back on both sides. And if you fancy a decent property with a pool, and you don't mind a sort of 20-minute drive to the beach, then have a look at Cetina. It might just be what you're looking for. I don't know if you can make out in the distance, but you'll see another golf resort. So we're coming up here to one of the big golf resorts that are here, and that's Hacienda Riquelme Golf Resort. Now, we dismissed living on a golf resort full time simply because whenever you sort of walk around them, whilst they're very nice, they have a sort of town centre with a selection of bars and restaurants. But there was two things that put us off, well, three things really. One, most of the time they're really quiet, so there's no one around. Two, many of the apartments and villas are just out for rent all the time, so you get just mainly groups of guys coming to play golf. You know, they're here for maybe a long weekend or a week or 10 days or whatever, but they're here basically on a lad's break. And I'm talking about the guys in their 40s, 50s and 60s as well. And inevitably what happens is, you know, they're out playing golf all day, and they end up going to the 19th hole. Not the bar in Los Alcatres, although they should, because it's very good. They go to the 19th hole clubhouse and they have a few beers, and very often they just continue that back in the villa or the apartment that they've rented, so they can be quite noisy into the wee small hours, and because they don't live there, they don't really care. And then the third thing is, because it's a resort, you're a captive audience for the bars and restaurants there, so they can afford to charge a bit more than the local bars, and pretty much you don't have a choice. You can get taxis to the neighbouring towns of, you know, Cetina or Vallecas or Rondan, but you may as well just pay the extra and sit in the bar in the golf resort rather than add on the prices of taxis. So we decided not for us, and that's why we wanted somewhere a bit more civilization, a bit more of a community feel. So I'm just going to continue up these little roads here. I'll often do this on the bike, just get out and follow my nose. I kind of plumb a rough route into the sat-nav of things I maybe would like to see on the way, but I like to just sort of vary it, go off piste, if you want to call it that. I'm just learning as we go about this vlogging and stuff. So if you've got any tips for me, if there's anything particular you think, you know, I should be focusing on doing these vlogs on the bike, let me know in the comments, as this part of YouTube is all quite new to me, and I'm just learning as I go. So if any of you can think of better ways to make the videos more interesting, just please let me know in the comments, and I'll gladly take all feedback. So coming into another little settlement here. Don't really know where it is. Don't know what it's called. So it said La Nueva Tercia, the new Tercia. Because I know there's a big golf resort called Tercia Golf Resort, La Tercia. So I assume that, there's a little sign here on the left, La Tercia. or Tercia, probably Tercia. You know, I do enjoy these runs out on the bike here, and I think it's partly because I don't really know all the sort of back roads and areas yet. Living in Scotland all my life and having a motorcycle since I was 17, I pretty much know certainly the west of Scotland and a lot of the east, some of the north and some of the south of Scotland I know pretty well, just through years of going out with the bikes on Sunday, working away all over the UK in fact. So everything gets a bit samey when you end up doing the same route, you know, every other week on a Sunday run.